I've made a terrible mistake, Paul Thurrott.
Is it this podcast? Listen, I've apologized for this before. I don't know.
Worse than that. This is way worse than that.
Okay.
So I gave my parents a new computer.
Oh.
And now my mom is texting me.
Every day. Yep.
If I reject all the cookies, what does that mean? Now it says the access point won't work. It says it's trying to diagnose it. What does this mean? And she's still typing. Like, just, anybody can just, well, you can't see it, but she's still typing.
Best communication I ever had with my mother.
Hold on. We have breaking news.
Oh.
She said it fixed it. It said it fixed it. It's fixed.
Oh, that's what it meant. That's what it meant. That's what it was doing. My mother once called me and said, "Hey, did you get my email?" Like, I don't think you understand how email works, Mom.
The next step is I'm buying them an iPad.
Yeah.
It's what I should have done, but the problem is they had this old laptop that was thicker than a brick, and my mom just uses it to log in, to pay bills, and that is it. And check Facebook and whatever. And I was like, look, I've got a whole bunch of Surface Pros at home. I will just, and this thing was running, I think, Windows 8, Paul. Like, this is like,
yes.
But it worked. Like, that's like, they never complained. Never complained. And so I was like, you know what? Here, I've got this thing. It'll be way faster because it was starting to whatever. And shouldn't have pissed into that wind, Paul. Here we are. Tried to do the right thing. An iPad would have solved it.
Hey, doing the right thing will never be rewarded.
No.
You should know that by now.
It really won't. So here we are on a Monday. And
yep.
I got to tell you, Paul, other dumb things I've done. This was hopefully my wife does not watch this. This would be great if she didn't. If she did, it's going to be bad.
Watch this.
So Saturday morning, like a local pickup soccer league started up. I went and played soccer for quite a while. And, it had been a while. I'm not out of shape, but I wouldn't say I'm in shape. And I'm also 37 now, not 17.
The advanced age of, yep.
Yeah.
I was contemplating something like this morning, but please continue.
So I woke up this morning and my wife's like, "How you feeling?" And I'm like, "I feel fine." Paul, I was dying.
Yes. Yes.
Like, if it was a joint, it was inflamed or in pain, but I couldn't let my wife know this. I had to go strong.
You're experiencing the first things of aging or whatever. And like I said, I just considered this morning. I was walking down the stairs. I was thinking about my little fall the other day. The cat runs down the stairs, doesn't go between my legs exactly, but just had to go down right then. And all I'm thinking to myself is, I'm going to trip on this cat. I'm going to be at like a Peter Griffin style crumpled ball at the bottom of the stairs. My wife saw it on a run. She's going to come home and have no idea what happened, you know? And I think that's what aging is like. Like you always feel like you were when you were younger.
Yes.
And then one day something happens and you're like, wow, that hurt me more than I thought it would have, and like you have a new level set on where you're at and diminished returns and whatnot.
Yeah. As we were getting towards the end of, and there were people of all different ages. There were people older than me. There were definitely some people who were a little bit younger than me. And as we were getting close to more than an hour in at this point, it definitely entered the phase of the mind was willing, but the body was unable. Like that's where we kind of.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. You might want to get used to that. Will be the theme for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Nope. And so
actually, eventually, even your mind is not going to be really all that interested. But yes, cashing checks your bodies can't.
Yeah.
Writing checks you know what I mean.
Yeah, for the
writing
top
checks your body can't cash that thing.
Yeah, before they go inverted and the bird and international relationships. Yeah.
I think this was summed up nicely in the first Lethal Weapon movie by "I'm getting too old for this shit." I think was
like you
right?
as a youth, I don't know, like you hear all these phrases like growing up, and then it's sort of like when you're watching TV and you see the medicine commercials, which if you're outside the U.S. It doesn't matter, but if you're in the U.S. you're like, oh yeah, maybe that does apply to me now. Joint supplements.
Right. All these ads that are on TV during football are suddenly starting to make sense.
All I can tell you, Paul, is I've never taken fish oil before, but maybe it should be on the agenda.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So
Well, you've missed a lot of good health craze nonsense, so I'm sure there'll be plenty
Yeah, I'm
more.
thinking about getting into jazzercise maybe. That'll.
Nice. I think that's what you need more is dancing. That's the crucial missing link in your life.
Oh man.
We'll make some good Twitter posts.
Yeah. So,
Why does
question:
Brad
Did you
have a top hat and a cane? Yeah,
did you
sorry.
change anything on your end?
What do you mean?
Have you changed any hardware? Anything? Because as I
No,
noted,
I tried to. I'm back to what I've been using the whole time.
because interestingly,
Yeah.
your video picture quality is much better than it was all last week,
Right.
and I think so far your audio has not wavered like it had in the past.
Yeah. Nothing has changed. By the way, I live in a weird state right now, and I don't mean Pennsylvania, because for this brief moment in time, the connection I have in Mexico is actually better than the connection I have here.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get to take advantage of it too much because we didn't bump it up until like 1 or 2 days before we left on the last trip. But I would like to improve the speed here. In fact, I'm happy to pay a bit extra for that. This freaking company has raised my bill twice since like midsummer. Like it went up $10, 3-4 months ago. No explanation. It just went up $10 again. Like what? Am I getting more quality of service out of this or something? What's going on here?
You're getting
I
higher
don't know
quality
that
ones and
that's-
zeros.
Well, I mean, you can't. Well, am I missing something? Did I sign a contract where you can arbitrarily raise the cost of my service every once in a while, twice in 1 year? Maybe. I don't. I don't like everyone else. Don't read those things, but I got to look into this. Anyway, no, I've done nothing.
We
I
should raise
will
the cost of
today-
this podcast from 0 to nothing.
It's 0 to nothing. Listen, I think we should sell it for what it's worth. I honestly, we'd be doing community service for the rest of our life. I think would be the payment there.
You
know?
don't have to. We don't have to put ourselves out on the whatever thing before our wives listen to it and actually realize that we do nothing. And it's whatever. What are we even doing?
Play Call of Duty all weekend. That's all I can tell you.
Speaking of Call of Duty, so
Mhm.
I don't have all information on this. If you're looking at buying an Xbox Series S, you might want to wait until the 17th. I got a
Yeah,
tip
I saw
from
your tweet about
somebody
that.
sent me a tip, and it looks like there might be a bundle or something coming on that date where we might see that $249 price again that Target had at one point.
I have been using the S since possibly last summer. It might be over a year now. It's great. Call of Duty looks great. It runs great. It's a brand new title, right? I'm sure maybe it looks a little better on the X. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but this is a beautiful little console. Like it's really nice.
The one thing I have noticed too, and I'm sure somebody else has picked up on this,
Mhm.
Microsoft is only pushing the Series S. Like if you look at their social feeds and everything else, like they're not talking about the X. They're like, go buy the S. The S is the best one. Like that's what they want people to buy. Probably because it's cheaper, but
Well, I could be wrong, but among the stories that have come out in recent weeks, for some reason, there's been an explosion of like hard numbers around Xbox. Microsoft loses $100 to $200 per console right now. The 200 is the S, not the X. Like
somebody else brought. Where is that coming from?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were talking about this on Windows Weekly, and I said at the time I assumed the 200 was the X. And Leo said, no, it's actually the S that costs them. So
that seems crazy to me.
I know. There's a lot of math you can do around these things, like how many games you have to buy to make it make sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
How many games you have to buy in a year to make Game Pass make sense for you as a consumer. It depends on how does that math change with Activision Blizzard, assuming that goes through. I honestly, I don't know. I think this console's great. They could have just put this out all by itself as the new gen, and then did like the X like next year, and they would have looked like heroes. I think you know what I think the deal is? We talked about this, right? They force. I mean, they require developers to target both consoles, so they have individual performance characteristics and whatnot. This thing is a little more tuned for 1080p, 1440p, 60 frame a second. It can do 4K, obviously, but the X is more like 4K 60, that kind of thing, or maybe even higher, whatever. The thing is, like, once you force developers to do that, they just okay, well, mostly we're just going to write to this console. The other console will see improved whatever because it is faster, but you have to target this one. So I think that might be part of it. So a lot of these next gen titles, right?
I don't think it's as big of an overhead as people think it is. Just because it's the same CPU. The only difference are the visual assets, which is the GPU side. So I'm not saying there's not some of that goes on, but you think about it, it's the exact same CPU in there. So
they're not different architectures.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't mean to call it least common denominator, but don't you think that's part of it? Like, it's just easier to write once and it works. It looks great.
So part of me is like, that does make sense. Like, logically speaking, that makes complete sense. But also part of me is Microsoft knew this well before they started designing the console. Like, they said, how can we make this just easy for developers? And they said, well, same CPU, basically the same GPU.
Yeah, that's true.
Just load different assets. And I don't know. But I mean, when somebody says, what console should I buy? I'd tell most people, like, just go get the S. You probably won't notice the difference.
I literally play Xbox every single day, and I think it's fantastic. I've never once been like, little slow, little something, and never, not once ever. I know storage might be an issue for people.
Yeah, that's probably the big one.
Yeah, that's not been the case for me personally. That's solvable. They have those memory cartridge things. My Xbox, I'd have to look at it, but it probably just has the last three. Well, it has three Call of Duty games on it, and probably still has Halo as well. I don't remember, but not very much. But I'm not really playing a lot of games, and not that the streaming thing has taken off in a major way, but if you're interested in cloud gaming, this is a great way to go. You don't even need storage for that. No, I see the light.